Thanks, Zach, for that. Yeah, and for most of the business stakeholders on this call, what that means is just more higher productivity from your development teams, like being able to get through that backlog and then combining that power with existing technology like low code, no code that we saw. So we're already feeling that. Like even those startups that I was talking about had engaged with us late last summer, early fall, and the development speed that they're able to show products and bring them to market is being reflected by the AI components, but also this developer empowerment mindset that we've been seeing. So some final takeaways in just as some general categories, right, on the business and kind of stakeholder technical side. Data security is going to be a hot topic as you're introducing this capability into your organization. So data has always been a hot topic, but now it's even more so amplified with the capability of AI. So that means like data quality and governance and all that is going to be more relevant because you're going to be feeding these systems and having these outputs. You're going to want to make sure those outputs are accurate. And the other thing that's not on this list too is also that prompt engineering. I think that's a growing skill set, and it's a skill set that we've been developing, and it really does influence the responses, of course, but it creates this level of productivity. You're just typing text. You're not having to know how to code anything. You're able to influence the application's output like just by typing natural language, which is very awesome. And then as Zach mentioned, developer teams will become more productive and using it more as a tool, like alongside. That's why these AI systems are often called co-pilot, right? We're working together, and then that productivity gain from that kind of relationship is, we're really seeing that through the different use cases that we've built out. So my prediction is this is a personal prediction. Instead of going the other direction, I'm saying, oh, I'm going to expect AI to do a lot of these development tasks. I think it's going to increase the demand for application development because the ROI will be very clear. Instead of waiting for an application to take much longer than what we're used to without AI, that turnaround time, that quality of the application is going to be accelerated. Therefore, organizations are going to be willing to invest more into application development because the break-even point of some of these investments is now going to be much sooner versus later. So my last thought before we get into Q&A, we're doing decently on time. We're a little bit over. And this is not a marketing approved slide. This is just something that I thought about right while I was walking my dog, and I just felt like I wanted to share it. But if you think of AI as the introduction of a novel technology, so an example being the light bulb, that capability needs to be harnessed and delivered, right? In the light bulb's case, to homes and construction and buildings, whereas the lamp kind of represents the applications that we're building. So how do you harness this power? How do you deploy it right to different end users or organizations? And then the power that supplies this light bulb is data, right? And that's what large language models are doing. They're going throughout the internet and creating those parameters, creating those embeddings, and making that easily available, through, to a user. So this is how we kind of, how we feel about how the technology is being introduced. And in our world, this digital world, these applications that are being created are going to help harness and deliver this power to teams and organizations, all over. All right, so question and answer here. So Zach, we could request you guys to hop back on here. We'll I see that we've answered quite a few of these.
Yeah,
Maybe
there's a couple that are still open there.
Yeah, do you want to take the recent one with the PHP code?
Yeah. So the question is, can we utilize poorly written PHP code to generate unit tests? And I think the question that you're trying to get across is, can AI generate unit test on poorly written PHP code? And the answer is likely yes. Right? It understands all of the syntaxes, whether it's PHP, JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, and it can take what it knows about the file and the functions and everything that it's outputting and create unit tests to kind of go around that. So yes, it definitely can create those unit tests.
I'm going to re-emphasize one of the previous asked questions. How can sales and marketing teams take advantage of AI chat GPT? So I shared a few of the ways that we've seen it develop in our organization, some of our clients. One notably to me is just better email templates for outbound sales, which because we get that all the time, they're usually just very general, but being able to tailor a product messaging to your ideal customer profile, I see that being very powerful, right, for a sales team. The other is these quote responses. So like we're able to respond to government RFPs much faster because we are sort of pre-populating these RAG models with the data that we need. And then we can also combine that with the RFP information and then make sure that we're responding in the way the RFP requests. So there's going to be an accelerated response time for these RFP quotes that come in, at least, with the government mindset. And then Zach, it's like sales training is big too. So there's a use case I didn't go through, but there's one where we actually monitor a sales pitch, and it could, take any sales pitch that's out there. It could be a presentation, it could be a 30-second interaction, and then that sales pitch is then transcribed and checked for keywords and then graded based on what the AI infers from how quality that sales pitch was. And there's a UI for a sales manager to review that pitch. We also see that same use case being applied to compliance organizations. If you're a life science company and you want to make sure that you're staying within compliance, then you can check for negative keywords or things that shouldn't be said. So the transcription technology in products like Whisper has elevated that sales training, that sales capability. Zach, anything to add there on that?
No, I think it's a great example too, just where, as you mentioned, we didn't get a chance to show it, but where we're taking voice recognition, passing it through a system, comparing that to text or context or system configuration, and allowing AI to analyze it. So not just text and documents in digital format, but also now voice and even video, et cetera, that can be analyzed and used in a lot of business scenarios.
What are you seeing as a clear winner in AI use cases? I'll just say it's too early to tell. The ones that we're showing, I would say, are in the lead, right? These are the RAG model, I feel like, is only going to evolve and get better. And then the OCR, there's a little bit of OCR fatigue, right? Just based on our experience, 5-10 years ago implementing OCR, but now it's kind of come around again with intelligent CR, right? And I think we're gonna see that come back. And there's always going to be paper, and image kind of ingestion anyway in applications. And now that use case is better solved with AI. So those are the top two kind of use cases. But then from there, like I mentioned, that transcription part of it, there's some also like general, I'll call it sentiment analysis. So being able to, listen to a recording or listen to a customer service call and just saying, this was a positive interaction. So that like taking a set of data and just broadly categorizing it is another use case there.
Yeah, being able to integrate with your data is definitely going to be huge. Being able to take your SQL server or your Postgres server and ask questions about it, being able to summarize data is, in my opinion, kind of like the next RAG, right? Right now we're doing, a lot of PDF analysis, but being able to take that and apply it to your SQL database would be great. That's kind of what we're seeing.
What industry do you see AI and RAG impacting the most? This one I don't know. I don't want to say the word like a lot, but it's gonna impact nearly every industry. Probably the ones that are leading the way are any scenarios where there's a lot of like text content being generated today. So like kind of the media industry and anywhere where you're creating this content to be collected and ingested by the AI. But from our case, I know startup is not an industry, but we're just seeing a lot more startup ideas come to life, and they're right now addressing kind of their niche markets, and that's pretty general, as well as terms of like what they're going to market with. So no leading industry, at least from my opinion, quite yet, but maybe we'll see that in the next 6 months.
Yeah, I think it's really going to be broad. I think it's more or less like, of course, there's going to be industries that are already using it, like sales and marketing and manufacturing and QA testing and stuff like that. But it's the evolution of AI is just going to be able to take any industry and utilize what everyone else has been utilizing kind of at a manual level and put that into AI and become a tool. And I think that's the biggest thing is it's not necessarily going to take over jobs or take over, an industry. It's just going to be a tool that every industry is going to be able to use.
Yeah, I think a better way to think about it too is like what teams is it impacting? So we're seeing it impact sales teams, marketing teams, development teams for now, and then industry would be the next observation over the coming years. Yeah.
The question on the white papers or resources to obtain more information about the approach of development using Copilot and other tools for development. I don't think we have any white papers or specific resources at the moment, but we do have different resources for AI in general on our website. I'm sure we can post a link to that, but definitely something that if you're interested, we could definitely go through it and kind of more in detail, and possibly definitely create resources around that as we are utilizing, and every single day we have the content to put out there.
All right, I think we got all the questions here. So yeah, let's wrap because I know we're just at the hour. So we went a little over and appreciate everyone staying on. We will be reaching out with our contact information as well. And obviously you can go to our website, which you've already seen in our email in the initial registration here. So thanks everyone for coming. Thank you to Zach and Zach for presenting, and hopefully this was helpful, give you some insights into the general capabilities of AI, and then more to come as well from Nymbl. So appreciate it all.